Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have another shop talk, and today's topic is going to be regarding tariffs on the auto parts industry. And I'm going to share an experience with you that I feel people should know about, because it's not quite what a lot of companies are saying it is. They're just trying to make a quick buck off you. So with that said, let's go and get started on today's video. And like always, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below and definitely smash the like button because it helps the channel out. With that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. So being a mechanic, I'm sure everyone can understand that shops go through quite a bunch of parts to repair vehicles. Now, I do want to mention in this video, just as a heads up, this is not a political video. This is just my experience, and we're going to be talking about tariffs, but I really don't have any political input to put on this. We're just going to be talking about what's going on right now, the subject at hand. So the tariffs kicked in, obviously, from, parts coming in from China, on metal imports, all that stuff. There's a lot going on. I'm not even going to try to unravel that. But as far as what I've heard in the industry from a few suppliers and a few parts places is that, hey, the tariffs are kicking in, so the prices are going to go up in a couple weeks to a month or whatever the case was. And this is about a month ago. So it's been a little bit of time. I wanted to wait it out a little bit before I made this video because I kind of stumbled into something that I feel everyone should know, and I think most of it is just a lot of parts companies or parts stores trying to, grab extra dollars from you. So I work with parts stores, whether they're, commercialized stores or mom and pop stores. I also work with direct distributors and warehouses that give me parts, factory direct or, supplier direct. And I have quite a few friends that I've made throughout these years that work inside of these places, and I can easily call them up and be like, hey, what's the deal? Like, what's the scoop? What's going on? Because this is what I'm hearing, and they can kind of give me more relative information. Now, there are a few places that I buy parts from where I had reps come in and say, hey, just so you know, the tariffs are going to kick in. Prices are going up in the next, couple days to weeks. And I just kind of dismissed, like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, what else is new? Ever since 2020 with the whole COVID thing, it's always been either we can't get any parts, or they're harder to make now or more expensive to make, so your price is going up. So those are kind of the two things. Either we don't have anything, or we're going to charge you a lot more for it because of some whatever issue going on. And that's been automotive for the last 5 years. I mean, 2020 and up has just been, crap, to say the least, when it comes to auto parts and prices and things like that. Now, we did have some dips, but, with every dip, there's also a high. And I had one of my suppliers tell me, hey, they're going up. I waited a couple weeks, and I noticed that their prices went up, but all of my other suppliers, or a few other suppliers, I should say, that I was buying from, the prices really didn't change. Maybe a couple, pennies or $1 in a price change. Nothing really drastic. And I kind of just let this roll, and I stopped using certain suppliers because they were implementing big price changes, and then everyone else was just kind of staying the same, or maybe, like I said, like $1 or $2 or a couple cents of changes. And I called up the suppliers that didn't really change their prices, and I called my buddies up there, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? I heard that tariffs are going on, this and that, but your prices only went up like a couple pennies to $1, if that. And they basically told me that, listen, we have stockpiles of parts. We anticipate the market going through stuff. So these warehouses and suppliers usually buy boatloads of merchandise. Now, I don't even know how long this inventory can sustain, if it's only a couple weeks, months, or even maybe a year's worth of supply. But from what he told me, it's pretty good for a long time, for, months on end, I want to say. And he told me that they have warehouses filled with this stuff because they kind of, anticipated this. So basically, they stockpiled the parts while they were getting them at a good price. And right now, the parts that they're selling that supposedly have high tariffs on them are pre-tariff parts that weren't really a part of that, because these were purchased, let's say, months ahead or maybe even a year ago. And these warehouses are now selling them as, well, sorry, tariffs kicking in, so we're going to implement a tax on top of these parts that we got for a very good price just because that's the new thing. So this is kind of the way that they're doing it, is basically they bought something for $1, and they're basically holding on to it, and now that the prices are inflated, and even though it's going to be, you know, a temporary inflation or whatever the case might be with it, they're saying that now this part that was bought way before this was introduced is now a part of this, and they're going to raise up the price because they can. And to me, that's a bunch of crap. Big suppliers are doing this. They're automatically, you know, changing their prices to include non-tariff parts to be in this tariff, you know, price range, which, I mean, I get that they would do that, but at the same time, like, you're really hurting shops out there and consumers, because if you're just gonna raise the prices just to make a buck and not even try to help people out, I mean, it's going to hurt automotive in general. It hurts mechanics, it hurts consumers. It hurts them because they're not going to be selling the parts. And that's the thing that they're going to have to learn. They're going to burn their finger to figure it out. And it's unfortunate. But for right now, there's a lot of suppliers that I've, you know, bought from. And I mean, I had a price difference. It was a window regulator. I called a local warehouse that I use, and they wanted like $200 for it. And then I called the local parts store. They had it for $100. So I called them, it was the same part number and everything. I called the warehouse, I'm like, hey, what's going on? Why is this part more expensive with you guys? Oh, it's a tariff part, this, that, prices went up. And I'm like, yeah, but you guys are the only one that's implemented the tariff prices supposedly. And he's like, well, we're just one of the first ones to do it, so you know how it is. We are always gonna be the bad guys because we're choosing to implement it first while everyone else is, you know, trying to just keep it where it is and then slam it onto you later, which still could be the case. But if you have these companies that are not doing it, but you are doing it, I mean, don't you think it would be a gradual thing? And to me, honestly, I know that higher prices will be coming, but I don't expect them to be the day that, let's say, a tariff is announced, like this, a bunch of these other companies have been doing. To me, that's a little suspect. I would anticipate that if a tariff gets announced today, maybe 4 or 5 months down the road, you start seeing implementation of the price going up, not instantaneously, like, you know, it's said and boom, prices went up, because those parts are on that shelf prior to any of this. So to me, I just found that kind of funny. And like I said, this wasn't just like one situation. I've been dealing with this for a couple weeks now, where I've been kind of just calling parts stores, even making up, you know, parts, like just going online, finding a part from one supplier, seeing what the price is, and then comparing it to everyone else, and then calling them and asking them what's going on, this and that, and this is kind of what I get. And the key point is that most of the suppliers that are choosing to raise the prices right away, they're going to claim that they're doing it first, so they're going to be the bad guys and this and that, because they have to implement it first and everyone else is trying to sneak it in. But the biggest thing is that those parts are on the shelf prior. So, you know, again, it's like you're taxing something that you got for a low tax. And it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's their part. It's their business. They choose how they want to run it. But as a mechanic to many of you out there that work on your own cars, I would say shop around for your parts at this point. Call multiple places, go online, use credible online auto parts places, because there are a lot of fakes out there when you buy online, so be careful of that. But overall, you know, just do your due diligence and check around, because that's what I've been doing lately. And I'll be honest with you, the prices haven't gone up that much, even with these so-called tariffs, because the parts stores that are reasonable and the warehouses that are reasonable, that are doing it by the book, really, realistically, it's only going to increase the price by a couple bucks, not by, you know, let's say $50, like some of these other shady places that I'm talking about are doing, where they're just upping the price, you know, dramatically just to do so, in my opinion. But at this point, I mean, it is what it is. Just want to inform everyone out there, be cautious when, you know, you're buying parts for your car. Look around, shop around. That's the key takeaway. So with that said, hopefully everyone enjoyed this video. Like always, comment, like, and subscribe, because it definitely helps the channel grow. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next video.